They've won the past 6 NBA championships, and with wins tonight, both the Bulls and Rockets will move one step closer to another title. Up 3-1, Michael and Scotty look to ground the Hawks in our nightcap. But first, the Sonics must overcome a hungry Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley denied the elusive title in Philadelphia and Phoenix. Hopes to lead his Houston Rockets team into the Western Conference Finals with a victory here tonight at the Summit over the Seattle Sonics. Houston leads in this series 3-1 after getting 2 victories in Seattle. The interesting thing about this playoff series is that the Houston Rockets have never defeated Seattle in a playoff series. Now they have Seattle on the brink of elimination, 3-1. So the Seattle Sonics, the defending Western Conference champions, are in a crucial game. I think it's a good time to use the term finally. What are the keys for Seattle if they are to avoid elimination tonight?
Well, first of all, in talking to George Karl, a very confident guy. But frankly, I think they've got to get Hersey Hawkins off. George Karl agrees. He's averaging 8 points a game. When he has a big game, they step up dramatically. Secondly, defensively, they have got to do the job that they did earlier, and that's get more interceptions, be much more aggressive, get into a fast tempo game, which George loves to play.
Now for the Houston Rockets, Akeem was the building block for the future. Then comes Clyde Drexler, then Charles Barkley. Mario Elie steps up, surprises people. But the big surprise in these playoffs, the man who the spotlight has been on, is a 26-year-old rookie by the name of Matt Maloney, who you might call an unlikely hero.
Well, he is an unlikely hero, but he's a guy that's really responding to these playoffs. With the big 3, they get post-ups and double teams, but he has stood out there and made 3 after 3 after 3 and will continue to do so, although Peyton will play him tonight. Maybe it'll be Mario Elie unless they change their defense.
Yeah, every one of these first 4 games has had something different. That's going to be the case here tonight, too. Now, PJ Carlesimo, who's in our studio tonight, the subject of a lot of rumors. Some people are saying, is PJ headed to Boston? EJ will talk to PJ right after this.
There's no giving up, no giving in. It's not over.
All right, Houston and Chicago will try to follow Utah's lead and advance to the conference finals tonight. It's another playoff doubleheader. And then tomorrow night, the Knicks will head south with a 3-1 lead for Game 5 with the Heat. And we welcome you to another night of NBA playoff hoops here on TNT. Ernie Johnson joined once again by the Blazers head coach the last 3 seasons, PJ Carlesimo. A lot of folks have been trying to find PJ Carlesimo today. Talk about this article in a New York paper that says, Rick Pitino wants you to be the GM of the Celtics. Has he called you?
He's not. I guess the only person that I haven't talked to is Rick. Rick hasn't talked to me, but as usual in the NBA, that doesn't stop the rumor mill from working.
Is there some interest there on your part if this were to come about, an offer to be made?
Well, there'd always be interest for me to work in the NBA, and of course Rick's a good friend, and I'd love to do that. But you know, that's for him to say, not for me, and it's certainly not for somebody to run their mouth in a newspaper.
Got your phone with you? Okay. Let's talk about Houston and Seattle here. Big game. Sonics got to win this thing or it's all over. It's been a very high-scoring series, but a defensive adjustment's been big here, PJ.
Yeah, I think Rudy T has made a great move. I think there's a lot of trouble over the years, Houston defending Sam Perkins. And what Rudy did was make a move, put Charles Barkley on Sam Perkins, and that, of course, puts Akeem on Shawn Kemp. And you see right here, Charles outside. This is a big play, the end of the 4th quarter of Game 3. Akeem down in on on Shawn Kemp, and it puts him in there in position to make the block. What's more important, this is a big play to end this game. Charles comes up with the rebound, but more importantly, they've got some control over Sam Perkins. Sam has been somebody they've not been able to control. Most people's center can't go outside and defend that far away from the basket. It's a double problem with Houston because you put Akeem out there, the inside's open for Seattle to take it to the basket. So great move by Rudy.
Rockets with a chance to advance tonight. Of course, the Utah Jazz waiting for the winner. We'll be back at halftime, and we're going to hook up live with Coach Larry Bird. But straight ahead, a couple of Game 5 starting in Houston. Sean Kemp and the Sonics fighting for playoff survival. The Charles and the Rockets have the knockout punch. It's next.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Plymouth, one cover idea after another. That's Plymouth. By Dockers Khakis, nice pants that avoid the fashion airball. By AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by AT&T, it's all within your reach.
World Championship titles in 1994 and 1995. This is the most electric an arena has appeared in our entire playoff run here in 1997. As we look at the starting lineup, Seattle on the verge of elimination with Kemp, Shrimp, and Perkins up front, Hawkins and Payton in the backcourt. The Rockets leading in the series 3-1. Barkley, Ellie Olajuwon, Drexler, and Maloney are the guards. Maloney coming off a 26-point performance in the Game 4 win in Seattle. The 102nd consecutive sellout here at the Summit. Since 1993, when the Rockets started their roar, thanks to Michael Jordan's 2-year retirement, 1.5 year. The fans here in Houston have really bought into this franchise. Joey Crawford, Bernie Fryer, Tommy Nunez are our officials. Sam Perkins starting at center, a change that George Karl made after Game 1. He had been starting Terry Cummings, but Perkins bothers Olajuwon, and that's why he's in there. Shrimp to Perkins with 10 on the shot clock. 5. Kemp. That's a 2 just inside the line. Sean Kemp with a 2, and the Sonics lead it with 30 seconds gone in game number 5 in the Western Conference semifinals. Here is Matt Maloney, the soon-to-be 27-year-old rookie from the University of Pennsylvania in Grand Rapids in the CBA last year. Inside to Akeem, he draws a foul on his first possession in the paint.
Both clubs go to cross screens. They went for Detlef Shrimp. He couldn't make anything happen. An unlikely long shot from Kemp, who can make that shot. Here they cross screen for Olajuwon and gets fouled immediately by Perkins.
Rudy Tomjanovich and his coaching staff, Bill Berry, Larry Smith, Jim Boylan. Akeem in this series, averaging 17.3 points, 11.5 rebounds, nearly 4 assists a game. Because of those double teams, Sonics after the miss lead it 2-1.
Game starting very slowly, and it's going to be interesting. They're going to try to get Hawkins for a shot, and they got it.
And he missed it. And the rebound goes to Akeem Olajuwon, stripped away by Kemp, as Akeem kind of let it go because of the possibility that Barkley was going to take that ball. So a significant turnover, and that's another 2 from Sean Kemp. Before Game 1 in this series, Chuck, George Karl said the best sign for Sean Kemp to have a good game is early perimeter success.
Yes, facing the basket, shooting that shot, rather than taking it to defense, getting in trouble, and committing fouls.
On the other hand, Olajuwon gets 2 easy shots at the basket early on. Sonics 4-3. Olajuwon playing Kemp. That's another change that came after Game 2. Perkins for 3. That's good, and Sam Perkins is their deadliest man out there from three-point range.
And another good sign for the Sonics when he isn't hesitating on the shot. I felt in several of the games there was hesitation on Perkins' part and Cummings. There can't be tonight when you're facing elimination.
10 on the shot clock. Clyde Drexler defended by Shrimp. That's the same kind of fadeaway shot that he hit to win the game in Game 3. Mario Ellie missing from 3. Early on, Houston missing. Sonics are hitting, and Seattle leads at 7-3. Perkins thought about the 3. Barkley on him quickly.
Basically, the pace has been very consistent and not quite as up-tempo as Seattle would like it. Kind of a traditional game.
Kemp misses from the perimeter this time. Ball is knocked out of bounds. They say off Ellie as he was inside Gary Payton for that rebound. It'll be a new 24 and Seattle's ball. Kemp to the hoop, draws the foul. 7-3 Sonics. 9:32 to go in the first period, and Clyde Drexler picks up the personal.
First pass to Kemp. He takes the ball quickly to the basket, draws the foul, and the important thing is that he stays out of foul trouble, averaging close to 5 a game, 4.8, somewhere in that vicinity. And the past game, 7 minutes in the second half is all he played.
You see he's leading the entire playoff in rebounding. Ellie leaks out quickly, misses the layup. 9-3 Sonics, back very quickly. Kemp has 6 of Seattle's 8 points already. Looking for more. Rebound, Elijah Wan.
There was the problem. He had a little jump shot, took it to trouble. You take it to Akeem, you give him a shot to block your shot.
Rudy Tomjanovich told us that he worries when his team comes home. He says he thinks the Rockets are more focused on the road. You know, they won 2 up in Seattle.
And in the playoffs, you'll see every player contest a call, every coach, every call becomes so important.
8 on the shot clock. Elijah Wan. Tipped out of bounds with 6 seconds on the clock by Hersey Hawkins. I thought Elijah Wan had his way to the hoop on that drive. 5 seconds. Maloney. 1. That'll count. Rebound Drexler. Just beat the clock. Maloney denied the 3. Look at the run-out defense. Finally, though, back to Maloney, who misses the 3. Houston only 1 of 7 from the floor to open this game. 9-3 Seattle. Inside to Kemp. Deflected by Drexler to Elijah Wan and back to Clyde.
An unwise pass all the way down, and 3 people playing Kemp. One of them is going to get their hand up.
Barkley with the rebound and the putback. Seattle now 2 for 10, or Houston 2 for 10 shooting. 9-5 Sonics.
Charles Barkley averaging 12 rebounds in this series, but 13 during the course of the season. And one of the big differences, gets a lot of missed shots for this club.
Payton has the opportunity to drive, the follow by Sean Kemp. Payton has been struggling offensive. He leads all playoff players in minutes played. We get the timeout called by the Houston Rockets with the Sonics up 11-5, 7:53 remaining in period number 1 from the Summit in Houston.
All right, hey, welcome back to the Summit. The Sonics up by 6. I was in the locker room before the game, and the mood was pensive. The guys were all watching videotapes. Nobody was talking. I got one of those player chills from looking at all the intense faces. The guys were pretty serious about the game. They said, Sam Perkins said they know they're going to be in for awards just like game 2. We got to have it. Sean Kemp said, throw out the X's and O's. This game is about heart. And then Hersey Hawkins summed it up by saying, hey, there was no talking for 3 days. And he doesn't think that 3-pointers are going to save him tonight. Bob, Chuck.
Thanks, Reggie. Good look tonight, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. The neighborhood look.
Yeah, good report on the Seattle. Chuck, you were mentioning just we went to break that Seattle looks like they're ready for business tonight. You never know. As Chuck pointed out earlier in this season, this is a multiple personality, sometime multiple personality disorder team. Lob into Elijah Wan was tipped away by Perkins.
Houston
11-5 Sonics.
Yeah, Houston only 2 for 9 thus far.
And Barkley with the miss. The rebound off the Payton miss.
And Payton's struggling with his shot, which he really hasn't done all year. And George can't quite figure it out. It's early in the game that it's happened for the most part.
Bad pass. Barkley never saw it coming, and he gives a sharp look across the way about that one. Once again, Kemp has leaked out very quickly. And Hawkins looking to get some points early. Leaning into Maloney. Will draw the foul on the rookie Matt Maloney.
Nice play by Hersey Hawkins, getting in the lane, knowing he was pretty well covered, decided I've got to get a shot up, get to the line, and gets it up basically left-handed.
Hersey Hawkins in the series, 13.3, 4 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Chuck, you were pointing out as we look at the game-by-game numbers, he's averaging, what, just over 8 shots attempts per game?
8 a game, and talking to George, he said, well, he only averages 9 during the regular season. They've got to take care of Payton, Detmer, Schrempf, Perkins. but he needs more shots, and it seems like when he's more involved, they're a much better team. Game they won, he was huge, both on the offensive and defensive end.
Well, they're huge here early. 13-5, Sonics on a 9-2 run with 7 minutes to go in the first period. Mario Elie being defended by Hersey Hawkins. Ellie's been cold from the perimeter here in this game. Maloney looking for the three. Not there. Barkley. Elie threw it up over the backboard.
And Matt Maloney early short on the front rim. And sometimes when he does that, he struggles a little bit. But quite frankly, he's done it before in this series. Quebec, he never hesitates to take the shot.
Saw another youngster throw up some short shots last night for L.A. Payton. This time he penetrates and scores. And it is 15-5. Sonics with a double-digit lead here halfway through the first period. Houston comes out ice cold. This was exactly what Rudy Tomjanovich feared. He said his team comes home often, game after game, relaxes, and has this happen to him. Here's an example of Payton getting inside.
He loves to work the baseline. That time, very clever getting up on the glass. Elijah Wan was coming, but that's where he would like to run the offense from and get to these people on the perimeter shooting three-point shots.
18 seconds on the shot clock. 6:23 to go in the period. Elie looking for Elijah Wan in the paint. Perkins fronting him.
The back was cleared out, and that's trouble. Very obvious. They lifted on the weak side, and there's no way to help if you're going to front. And they have been prepared for that defensive maneuver by the Sonics.
Yeah, Kemp was late getting there. He would have offered some help. Payton penetrating again, missing again. Lead out to Elie. Clyde Drexler going to get an easy lay-in. Nice pass from Elie, and a little bit of a sleepy defense in transition for the Sonics. Out of bounds. Seattle ball, 21 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and Elie almost forced another turnover in Payton, but you're right, transition defense, when you've got the lead and you're back against the wall, you've got to get back and stop easy baskets.
Perkins bumped by Barkley. Coming up right after this, the Chicago Bulls hoping to close out Atlanta, leading in that series 3-1 from the United Center. Then immediately after that game, inside the NBA, a doubleheader for you tonight on TNT as we are getting down to crunch time in the semifinals. Perkins. Big board by Hawkins.
Guard rebounding, we've talked about it before, wins playoff games, and both of these clubs have outstanding rebounds, particularly Drexler and Hawkins can go and get second shots for you.
And notice that Payton is playing Maloney. Means Hawkins is on Elie. Barkley backing in on Sean Kemp, waiting for the double. Drexler sees the lane. Maloney looking for a triple. Again misses. This happened to him in game 2. You may recall that in game 2, Maloney missed early, didn't play much of the second half at all. What a follow and tip by Detlef Schrempf off the Hersey Hawkins miss. And once again, the Sonics have built a 10-point lead. And once again, Houston gets a timeout. Live by the perimeter, die by the perimeter. 4:45 to go in quarter number 1, and Houston gets a 20-second timeout. Charles Barkley often starts the talk in the huddles when they go over there, but not this time. Rudy T with his words for his troops.
Well, the Seattle Sonics playing terrific basketball, very controlled. They've been around. They feel like they can beat anyone on a given night. And the Houston Rockets a little bit on the sullen side, a little bit laid back. Not a lot happening for them. And the big factor is Maloney's three-point shot isn't going down. They have gone to Sedale Threat when they've been in this kind of problem before.
Not yet. Maloney 0 for 3 from the floor. Sonics with a 10-point lead. There's the three-point shooting. There's not been one go through the hoop yet for the Houston Rockets. 19-9 Sonics. 4:45 to go in the first period. 102nd consecutive sellout here at the Summit. Houston hoping to close out and go up against Utah in the Western Conference Finals. And the Sonics, who played brinksmanship basketball throughout the playoffs and throughout most of George Karl's time there, are on the brink again. Maloney looking for that three. Missing it again. Out of bounds off Barkley. It's Seattle ball. So now Maloney is 0 for 4, and they're all three-point attempts.
He's really struggling at this point, and indicated later or earlier, Sedale may be getting an early shot tonight if this continues.
Terry Cummings in for Seattle in place of Sam Perkins. Payton left alone in the middle. Easy pass to Kemp, and then the defense showed up. Again, the Sonics lead it by 10. 4 minutes to go in the period. Barkley's going to pull up. He can't get it to fall. Nice pass inside to Drexler when he got his own rebound. 19-11. Despite their terrible shooting, again, early in the game, the Sonics by 8 points. It's not exactly a closeout in the first quarter. Barkley got the steal. Who's going to run to the ball first? Ellie can't get there. Seattle ball. Smart play by Barkley.
Yeah, really, and second shots are the name of the game. You know, you talk to your club when you go into a big game like this. You say, hey, if they don't get any second shots, they have no chance to win. Too many of them on both ends at this point.
19-11, Seattle. 3:41 to go, first period. The Houston Rockets have never defeated Seattle in a playoff series. The double team on Shrimp. Open man is Payton. Rebound Barkley. That's 7 boards for Barkley already. He's averaging 12 a game in this series, 11.5 in the playoffs. Cummings going around Olajuwon. Some words.
Here it is. The ball, they're going to wear you out. Cummings pulling him down. He's going to make sure nothing else happens. That's one way to stop him getting off a shot.
Hey, I see it on Monday Nitro now. Olajuwon. Cummings. Oh, here's Monday Nitro. Kevin Willis. Willis into the game for his first appearance here tonight. Free agent acquisition. Buying power and rebounding inside. Joey Crawford with the call, and that's going to be 2 on Terry Cummings. Seattle gets a timeout now. Well, the Sonics jumped out here to this 10-point lead, but have been stymied offensively for the last 2.5 minutes. .307 to go in the first period. Seattle leading by a score of 19-11. Even though this is game 5, and even though Houston leads 3 games to 1, it's been closer than that. Game number 1 was about double teams down, and Ellie 5 out of 5 for threes. In game number 2, adjustments by Seattle. They started Perkins, steals, turnovers, transition. Kemp had 23 and 15. Game 3, Rockets outscored Seattle 25-14 in the fourth. That proved to be the game winner by Clyde Drexler. Game number 4, Seattle back to the double downs in Seattle, and Matt Maloney open for the threes. He hit 8 of them, had 26, and put the Rockets up for good in OT. And there are the numbers, with the Rockets leading 3 games to 1. Houston 105 points a game. Seattle 101.8.
Houston shooting 5 for 18, only 28%. Seattle 7 for 17. But Houston 0 for 7 from threes, and Maloney 0 for 4.
And still down 8, but that's 2 free throws missed early. Olajuwon missed 1, and now Willis misses the front edge of that. Kevin in the series, averaging just under 9 points and 5 rebounds. And it's a 7-point Sonics lead with 3 minutes to go in the first period. And David Wingate makes an appearance for Hersey Hawkins. No, Hersey Hawkins is there. He makes his appearance for the first time in this game, does David Wingate.
They went to a post-up for Hawkins. Hawkins started to move, but he decided to pass very quickly. Didn't have the lane. If you're going to go to him to a post-up, let him work the post-up and go for the score.
Here's Payton seeking the paint. Wingate rims it out. Barkley with his 8th rebound.
And Wingate is the guy that they want to shoot.
Charles goes coast to coast, and it is a 5-point Sonics lead.
That looked like the Barkley of old. When he was a younger player, he used to do it consistently 2 to 3 times a game.
Willis now playing Kemp. Shrimp on the bench. Wingate in his place. Ball is loose. 8 on the shot clock.
Payton penetrating.
That time Kemp got the ball, they got double teamed, and there was no one to pass to on the strong side of the floor. Made it very difficult for them. They're lucky they escaped because of Payton's great play.
Posting up Drexler now against Wingate. Looking for Willis. Foul before the pass. Here's the Charles Barkley we talk about. I saw him do this as a freshman at Auburn when he weighed about 320 pounds.
Watch carefully. He gets his motor up. He's looking for the space. And the Sonics running back defensively with their back to the ball. You do that on Charles, he's going to take it to the rim.
Sonny Smith was coaching Auburn at the time. Sonny Smith says, I've got the biggest nightmare in the world. I got this guy who's got this personality and tough to coach, and he's overweight, and he's the greatest player I've ever seen. That was his problem. 22nd timeout. That was Cummings' third foul, and here is a rare appearance by the $34 million man, Jim McIlvaine, who replaced Irvin Johnson, signed as a free agent after 2 years with the Washington Bullets, and who has played very sparingly in these first two series. As George Karl told us, he says, you know, if we'd been matched up differently against other teams, say Utah or someone else in the first rounds, McIlvaine would have played more, but we were matched up against 3 and 4 guard teams in Phoenix and Houston.
Ifs and ands were pots and pans. We'd all be alligators or tadpoles or something. You know, you can't always pick and choose. You go ahead and win the games, and the whole thing is set up. You got to play who's on the schedule if you want to get to the finals and try to win it.
If ifs and ends
were pots and pans,
we'd all be alligators
or tadpoles or whatever.
Whatever, Daly. Chuck, whatever, Daly. 21-14 Sonics. 2 minutes to go first period. Mario Ellie will inbound. Maloney has stayed in the game despite being unable to hit a 3, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. Inside, nice pass by Drexler to Barkley, who's hammered to the floor. No foul. It'll be inbounded on the baseline by Houston.
The Rockets keep pounding it in. Drexler, Barkley, Hakeem. Quite frankly, the Sonics are coming inside. There's the pass. Watch him work inside, getting the hands coming from the weak side. This is what they do so well.
Now, this is what George Karl does not want to get into. 10 on the shot clock. Willis, defended by McIlvaine. Willis jump hook. Barkley kept it alive into the hands of Payton.
That's all McIlvaine has to do basically on Willis is stand there, keep his hands up. The jump hook is a problem, but he's useful in terms of the shot blocking in that position.
Barkley has 9 rebounds in the first period. 1:18 to go in period number 1. And the perimeter shots are not falling for Houston.
This is starting to seem like a big game in terms of scoring and making things happen. Not big numbers on the board.
And one for Wingate. Houston 0 for 8 from beyond the arc. Will they stop shooting them?
No.
You bet not.
They will not, and Wingate does what he has to do. Here's Payton working, looking for the cutting Wingate, and that's a nice play rather than standing out there taking the threes all night long.
That's the first personal on Ellie. 24-14. Sonics have rebuilt this 10-point lead, which is the biggest lead they've had in this game. Houston had cut it to 5. Wingate against Drexler. Splits the double team. Wave off the basket. No continuation.
This is what we call a direct play. Drexler on a direct pass from Barkley. Barkley makes the cut through. Everyone else lifted. If he catches the ball, he's awfully difficult to handle one-on-one, as proven by that move.
By Drexler to the free throw line. Drexler, listen to his numbers in this series. 20.5 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists. I mean, these are big-time numbers.
And the key one, 39 minutes, I think, and we've got obviously 2.3 steals, but to play 40 minutes, and a guy who only played 62 games, but he says, this is my time of the year, this is when I want to play, this is what I go through it all for.
Seattle by 8. Rockets have scored only 16 points in this first period. 0 for 8 from 3. That tells why. Payton from 15 feet. Still struggling. 10 rebounds for Charles Barkley. Chance to cut it to 6 for Houston. They escape, and Barkley throws up the shot. Wanted it. Says, oh no, Joey Crawford, oh no. Payton committed the foul. That's his first personal, and Charles goes to the line. Charles Barkley, in the overtime game up in Seattle, missed 2 critical free throws with 11 seconds left in the game, then came back because he was so frustrated and scored the first 7 in overtime.
Let's see if he had an argument. Joey, I think, says he fouled him before the shot went up. I can't give him 3 on an attempt.
24-16 Sonics, 38 seconds to go first period. Barkley. Usually Charles Barkley, who's under 70% free throw shooter this season and in the playoffs, is one of these players, despite those 2 he missed in game 4, is one of these players who shoot 67% for the regular season and for the regular game, and then shoot about 90% inside the final 2 minutes.
Well, the same thing for threes, which we've seen. He shoots 28%, but then he'll get the big one late in the game.
6-point Sonics lead. They led by as many as 10. 34 seconds to go in the first period. Technical foul. It's called on Payton. Barkley had the gall to walk over to Payton and give him a slap on the keister after he's called for the technical. Ellie will shoot it. He was talking all the way down the floor.
When you're leading in a basketball game, not necessarily a good idea to create a problem with a lead official.
Well, Payton's a little frustrated here. He's 2 for 7. He scored 4 points, only 2 for 7. And Mario Ellie will make anybody crazy, the kind of tough in your face defense, and he beats up his opponent. Talking about Ellie. 8 seconds into Kemp. McIlvain got the backdoor pass. That was an erroneous pass. McIlvain rims out of there. Loose ball. Payton. 10 seconds in the period.
McIlvain very surprised to catch the ball twice, but he has not played at all in this series.
The runner goes for Hawkins, and he's fouled. 2.7 seconds to go in the period.
McIlvain, while I say he didn't play, he has played a few minutes, but not significant. But there he was standing both times, gets direct pass and said, "What is this?" Hawkins going up, floating, staying in the air, gets the roll, goes to the line.
Yeah, McIlvain's played a total of 9 minutes in the series, but it's been garbage time minutes. This is the first significant appearance for McIlvain with 2.7 seconds to go in the period. Snow steps in here for the final 2.7 to keep Payton out of any kind of foul trouble. Maloney picked up that foul, his second. That's the end of the period. The Rockets held to 19 points, go 0 for 8 from beyond the arc, and the Sonics lead it by 8, 27-19 after period number 1. The Seattle Sonics on the verge of elimination, but playing with intensity here in quarter number 1 at the Summit in Houston. The Summit in Houston, Texas, where the Rockets have 2 championship banners hanging from 94 and 95. They're leading in this playoff series 3 games to 1, but trailing 27-19 heading into the second quarter here with the Sonics on the verge of elimination. There are the rebounding numbers. Hakeem is back in, also Eddie Johnson, and Eric Snow is in for Payton for Seattle.
Barkley with 10 big rebounds. You wonder if he can keep that energy up through the next 3 quarters.
Sadale Freed is also in for Houston. We have a whistle on the far side. Bernie Fryer with the toot. Reggie Theus, what do you have for us?
Rudy T said in a huddle that the guys were just not sharp. You got to think the game, and we just came out like we thought it was going to be an easy night. Get the ball inside. That's where we're going to win this ball game tonight, fellas. They're not shooting the ball well. Bob?
Hakeem Olajuwon in the paint and one. McIlvain committed the foul prior to this. I think he got him there.
Well, take a look here. Here he's working in the lane. McIlvain not moving his feet, just let him go. Perkins can't get there. Kind of a circus shot, but Houston shooting 7 for 23, only little over 27%.
Olajuwon the blind. They gave the foul to Perkins. As you saw in that replay, it looked like Perkins got him on the arm. So 1 foul on McIlvain and 2 on Sam Perkins now. We have a 5-point Sonics lead. Snow with the penetration, the dish off. And the baseline jumper from Detlef Schrempf, who has 4.
And George got Kemp and Payton on the bench. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold this lead without his two superstars.
Bad pass from Kevin Willis.
It'll be all about execution right here. Eric Snow, who's played limited minutes in this series, is now asked to run this offense and get his teammates good shots.
Houston has committed 5 turnovers. Seattle only 2 thus far. Just under 11 minutes to go in the first half. Sonics lead it by 7 with the ball. Shrimp got a long rest, back in, dribbled it right off his knee. Here is 3. It's 3 on 2. Drexler got the foul on Eric Snow. Drexler wanted a 3-point opportunity, but instead will go to the free throw line.
Obviously the toughest call in basketball. Here's Drexler. Drexler's getting it on the wing here. Watch him take it to the basket, tries to avoid contact. Tough call. Tough call.
Drexler 9 of 12 from the free throw line in this series. That's 75%. See his career playoff numbers, nearly 21 points a game.
You know, with the big three, we're talking about Drexler, Olajuwon, and Barkley. They show times of the game where they kind of rest, but one bails the other out. And that's been the case. The fact that they go inside, move the ball so well, and they've been getting great outside shooting at the three-point line is why they're leading 3-1 in the series.
Clyde has 7. Barkley right now resting. Olajuwon and Drexler on the floor with Willis, Eddie Johnson, and Sedale 3. Shrimp nowhere to go on the double team. Shot clock at 8, and what a wrestling match going on down there with Willis and Detlef Shrimp. That's Willis' first personal.
Perkins screens for Detlef Shrimp. He comes open for about a split second, doesn't turn quickly enough to get the shot, and then they get run down in terms of the clock.
Now Drexler on Shrimp. Open man Wingate. Not this time. Rebound Olajuwon. Here's Sedale 3. Houston wanting to run. Eddie Johnson, who's having trouble finding his shot in the playoffs. Free agent signed from Denver early March. Olajuwon with that spin move on the baseline. And the push-out foul is on McIlvain. That's 2. Sean Kemp resting on the bench right now. He has 8 points and 4 rebounds. There's McIlvain.
Watch McIlvain's footwork. Watch carefully. He doesn't move his feet, bangs him with his left shoulder. Easy call for the official. Got to get your foot on the baseline and take it away.
4 team fouls on Seattle in only 2 minutes of play. That'll be significant as it'll start sending Houston on the next foul to the free throw line. Jump hook missed. Olajuwon follows, but wave it off. The whistle sounded earlier. This crowd is so noisy and the playoff intensity so loud here on the Summit, it's hard to even hear the officials whistle. Here's a look at it. So we have a timeout being called.
Looks to me like Willis walked right there. 2 steps, actually gets a shot off, but it ends up a foul
on Eric Snow, his second, and Seattle's in the penalty.
Tough with it.
Reggie, Houston looking for a knockout punch here against Seattle. You may have found someone who could deliver it.
Well, I tell you what, Bob, if anything happens, I'm in good hands over on this side of the floor. Evander Holyfield, I got a question for you. 6 weeks, you got to go against Tyson again. Do you expect a different man this time to show up?
Well, he should come in with a lot of intensity, but you know, I expect to win.
Always expect to win. All right, about this game, I thought you were an Atlanta Hawk fan.
Well, I'm an Atlanta fan. I'm also a Rockets fan as well.
What about Seattle?
Well, you know, I think it's coming from the Rockets team.
What do you think about this game so far? Are you getting up and down?
Well, it's a great game. It's a great game. It's a very competitive game, and I think it's going to go down to the wire.
All right, man. If anything breaks out, I'm staying right here. Bob?
Reggie, nobody ever said your mom had a fool. You're a smart man from day one. Eddie Johnson at the free throw line. Evander Holyfield, of course, trains here in Houston, which is why he's here and why he's a Rockets fan.
Eddie Johnson gets 2 free throws, but the big three have 21 out of 25 points for the Houston Rockets.
Rockets within 4, and Seattle has only 1 field goal in 4+ minutes going back to the first period. Perkins is back in. 8 on the shot clock. Snow facing Olajuwon, and Olajuwon called him to alter the shot. 5 rebounds for Olajuwon. Houston cutting into this Seattle lead. Seattle's had the opportunity defensively, but they've been unable to score. Posting up Willis. 10 on the shot clock. 3 to Olajuwon. That's his distance. It's a 2-point game. 29-27. Hakeem has 10. Out of bounds. It'll be Sonics ball.
Detlef Schrempf, a wide open, a shot you should make. They swing the ball. Olajuwon facing. He can make them anywhere on the court. Got all the moves back to the basket, but is a great shooter facing.
10 points, 5 boards for Hakeem. 8-2 run by the Rockets. Seattle had led by 10. Perkins fakes the three, takes the shorter shot. He's better at 3. Snow, likewise. Payton and Snow in together now. Perkins all alone. 6 rebounds for Olajuwon. A chance to tie or better.
And the Sonics can't find anyone to go to get a score. They've had some, as you say, some good opportunities.
It's tied at 29.
And you wonder what McIlvain's doing when you got a guy like Olajuwon at the foul line and he's 3 steps off of him and give him that kind of shot. Hakeem 5 for 6 from the floor.
Time out on the floor with 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the half. We're tied at 29 each. Tied at 29, 8:15 to go in the half.
And struggling for offense, Perkins on a long-range shot. Long rebound. Hakeem rebounds it, which he's done all night. Gets it in quickly. Watch down at the other end. Kick out by Willis. Watch right here. Watch right here. McIlvain, no hand up, advancing slowly. Watch what happens, and then finally puts his hand up. That's much too late. A guy like Hakeem who can shoot it, you better get there quicker than that.
First tie of the game. The Rockets have never led, but Houston has outscored Seattle 10-2 this quarter. Sonics only 1 of 6 for field goals. They've missed their last 5 shots. 6 on the shot clock. Sonics ball.
They've come with Kemp, come with Payton. Going back to the starters, they've got 8 minutes this quarter. They bought some time, but now the score is tied. See if they can see some momentum.
Kemp started out hitting the perimeter shot, and he's hit another here. So Sean Kemp now with 10 points. Sonics back up by 2.
Here's that little 2-man trap that we didn't see early.
Eddie Johnson pulls up and drains the 3.
Big-time late-season acquisition.
That's the first triple for Eddie Johnson in this series. He was 0 for 5 until he made that one. And the Rockets have their first lead, 32-31. Willis picks up his second personal foul.
The Sonics with quick transition get the ball to Kemp. He makes a move on the baseline, draws the foul.
And with the 2, Willis goes to the bench. Barkley comes back in.
Here's Eddie Johnson. Can't give him room like that when you're already there. He's been doing his whole career.
Olajuwon defending Kemp. Percy Hawkins. 3 falls down. Barkley and Olajuwon are both rebounding so well. The toughest defense they've had rebounding has been against each other. Quick pull-up from Eddie Johnson. Wanted the foul, didn't get it. Still arguing with Tommy Nunez. Here comes Payton in the paint. Who sees it? Nobody in time.
And he loves the open floor. He is unstoppable. Goes with either hand. Can loft it over any defensive player.
Payton's 3 for 8 tonight. Has 6 points. Sonics back up by 1 now. Into a seesaw situation with 6:54 to go in the half. Olajuwon left alone for that jumper again. He will drain that all night. 18 feet it in.
And I'm surprised they're able to get into the lane.
Perkins. Kemp has it punched away by Ellie. Oh, good catch by Hawkins. 10 on the shot clock for Schrempf. Trying to back in 3. Easy play with the mismatch.
When Olajuwon was coming, I thought he might be intimidated, but a nice hook shot by Detlef Schrempf, working in the lane, knowing he had a mismatch.
Quick double team on Olajuwon. Back into it. No double team. 8 on the shot clock. Eddie Johnson will draw the foul. By the way, speaking of good free throw shooters in the playoff, Eddie Johnson hasn't missed yet. He's 8 for 8, shooting 1,000%. That personal's on Sean Kemp. His first.
Not bad for him to 6:08 to go in the half with only one personal with the numbers he's had throughout this series.
Yeah, you see there the numbers on Eddie Johnson. He hasn't missed a free throw. I said he's 8 for 8 in this series. He's now 14 of 14 in the playoffs. Rockets by a point. 6:06 to go in the first half. Eddie Johnson, 7 quick points off the bench. 89 sixth man of the year.
This is an offensive set they like on the left side, working with Perkins, Payton, or Detler Shrimp.
Kelly gets the foul. Coming up right after this, the Chicago Bulls hoping to eliminate Atlanta at the United Center. That game immediately following this one from Chicago. Michael Jordan, what more can he do? And as Blaylock goes, so go the Atlanta Hawks. That'll be the key to the game once again for Atlanta.
No question about the fact that they had to play back-to-back over the weekend. This change and gives Mookie a day off. But you're right, throughout the season, when he's had a rough game, they haven't been the same club.
Sam Perkins at the line. And here is the first appearance in this playoff series by Larry Stewart.
You know, it's interesting that George is going so deep into his bench in this particular game and trying, I guess, to buy time for his key people. And he's got foul problems up front, so he's almost forced to do that inside.
I said Stewart was going to make an appearance. He had his jacket off, ready to come in, and went back and sat down. So he's yet to make his first appearance. Never mind. He'll be in shortly. The Sonics by a point. 5:35 to go in the half. Lob to Elijah Wall. Kemp got there this time. There's the dream shake.
Two people, fades away on the baseline. Toughest shot as you can take in basketball.
Ellie punched it out of bounds, but they're going to call. Oh, no, Freed did, and they're going to call him for the foul. Here comes Larry Stewart.
How about this? Catches it in traffic, fades away to the baseline, nails it. How about this look? He's got him sealed, gets weak side help from Kemp, splits it, fades away. You got to run him down or he'll make him.
Payton goes to the free throw line. There's Akeem's numbers.
Yeah, how about a 7 for 8 in a big game?
Tied at 38, 5:21 to go in the period. Larry Stewart wears number 23. Undrafted, who made the rookie all-star team. Had 21 starts this year. George Karl says he's an interesting player. He goes from being 12th man on the roster to starting. And that's another three from Eddie Johnson, who had been shut out from beyond the arc. It seems as if the Rockets find a new star every night to hit the big shots from beyond the range.
And Rudy talks about their system building off of Hakeem and working on 3 points. A great pass out of that double by Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hawkins has 10 points. Tied at 41. Eddie Johnson scored 10 points in 7 minutes. Hakeem Olajuwon has been really throwing it in the bucket here tonight with 10 points and 7 boards, particularly from outside.
Yeah, facing 2 of them who are just on side, and here's another one. You got to play him. You got to get close to him. You got to know where he is because he's a shooter. He understands big games.
Larry Stewart comes in for his first minutes in the playoffs, gets a very nice pass as he cuts to the hoop. Larry Stewart is 6'8", 230, played at Little Coppin State. Followed by Drexler.
When you're spreading your defense and trapping, you're going to leave lanes like that for easy tip-ins.
Payton getting in the paint again. He's been getting in there relatively easily tonight.
He can get there on his own or get off of a pick and roll. In the previous game that we had last Friday, he was able to get off the pick and roll and come open almost every time.
Yeah, with Mario Ellie out of the ballgame, it really opens things up for Payton. Barkley backing in on Stewart. Got him with the elbow and then drew the foul. And here comes Ellie back in the game for Eddie Johnson.
And Barkley admonishing
Matt Maloney. Take a look here. Watch the elbow, left elbow. Watch carefully. Right there. Bang. That clears it out. He did that against Angola for the Dream Team.
And you know, remember the comments he made about Angola?
Yeah, frankly.
Dare we bring those up again?
Frankly, he made everyone afraid of him for the rest of the series in Portland. No one got within 10 feet of him.
Doug Collins and I broadcast those games up there. That was a great series. What, the Olympic qualifying tries?
Yes, exactly.
What a team. There'll never be another like Dream Team 1.
Fantastic mystique, and interestingly enough, going into that tournament, the first bus rider was like the 7th game of an NBA final, because they weren't quite sure what to expect. They did find out, and through superb coaching by the entire staff, we were able to work it out.
Let's see, you, PJ Carlissimo, Mike
Lenny Wilkins, and Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, you had some pretty good assistants there. Shrimp with 4 on the shot clock. Tipped by Kemp. 2-point Sonics lead. 3 minutes to go, first half. Sonics with their backs to the wall, down 3 games, 1.
One of the reasons they're trapping, they're trying to keep some of their people out of foul trouble.
Drexler with the triple. Drexler has 12. He said previously when he played in Portland, he said it was like I was the CEO of the company. Here it's like I just have to head up a division, and it's easier for me. Kemp with the hook and the follow.
He had a very tough shot. Didn't even rise off the floor when he hooked out.
Timeout, Houston. 49-48 Sonics have a good one going at the Summit. 2:34 to go in the first half. Seattle leading it by 149-48, 2:34 to go in the period. And Chuck, shooting good, 60% Seattle, 75% Houston this period. But George Karl has gone deeper into his bench than perhaps he has the entire playoffs in this game.
Well, I think he really wants to keep his people for the second half. He's got Cummings with 3, Perkins 2, McIlvain with 2, and Snow with 2. So here's Hakeem's number, but I think he wants to try to stay out of foul trouble in the first half.
7 ties, 10 lead changes, all in the second quarter. Maloney was touched by Payton. That's why no turnover. But then the turnover. Hawkins-Payton with an easy basket. Well, Maloney having a nightmare here. He is 0 for 4 from the floor, hasn't scored, has only 1 assist, and that's Houston's 7th turnover.
George Karl moving that pressure up court. We talked about it prior to the game. He has not been willing to extend it much beyond a step. It's going to look like he wants to take it just a little bit more, and he got the turnover on the previous possession.
Drexler. That's another triple from Clyde. It's tied at 51. 2 minutes to go in the period. 15 points for Drexler. Stolen on the bad pass. Here comes Clyde. He has Willis. Couldn't get him the ball. Detlef Schrempf. Barkley caused him to change the call. They're saying that Barkley touched the rim. Wait a minute.
He bumped him.
Foul. Said he bumped him.
He said he bumped him. You know, Detlef Schrempf went up kind of nonchalant here. Look at this. One hand, lofts it. Bumped him, and Detlef Schrempf grabbed him around the waist, but there was contact. But he's going to get to the line without the basket. Would have preferred to have the basket and the free throw.
Barkley has 2 personals now. Tied at 51, minute 45 to go in the half. Detlef Schrempf with 8 points. His first free throw is for the night, and he misses it. Coming up, minute 45 seconds of basketball from now. PJ Carlissimo. The rumors all over about PJ, the former coach at Portland, maybe even going to Boston with his friend Rick Pitino. He'll be with Ernie Johnson. And how about this one? An exclusive talk with Larry Bird.
Yeah,
at home again in Indiana.
Very interesting. Watched a little bit of his interview yesterday.
Drexler. Offensive foul. Larry Stewart was right under the hoop. Nevertheless, I think that's what we're hearing Rudy T say.
Let's see if we can catch where Stewart is. Now he was outside.
Yeah,
good call by the official. Looked like he was deeper initially.
Now he was outside. You're right. That's the second personal foul on Clyde Drexler. Now it's Elijah Juan Willis, Eddie Johnson, and Sadale Freet on the floor for the Houston Rockets. Down a point with a minute 25 to go in the half.
Hersey Hawkins being defended by Freet. Rebound Olajuwon. Look at that heads-up play back to Freet.
Olajuwon and Kemp come down, and Olajuwon rips it out of his hands. Both of them had I thought there would end up being a jump ball.
Looking to get McKean posted on the left side, and Seattle denying that. Shot clock at 5. Ball fake. Olajuwon lean in. Olajuwon said, no, somebody hit the ball. No, says Tommy Nunez. Get down to the other end. 48 seconds to go in the half.
What Seattle's trying to do is force them to dribble, pick up the ball, and move their bodies rather than just standing around making plays.
Larry Stewart. That's a triple from the invisible Larry Stewart. Had not made an appearance in this playoff series. 4-point Sonics lead with 35 seconds. This half-court trapping is causing some problems.
It also gives wide open attempts at 3 for the Rockets.
Olajuwon spins in the middle. He's fouled.
And the one guy that George Karl did not want to pick up the foul was Kemp.
That's his second. Kemp in foul trouble the other night. What did you say he played in the here comes Perkins back in? What, something like 7 minutes or something in the second half?
7 minutes in the second half, and here comes Perkins, who has 3, but he'll come for offensive purposes and possible 3-point shot.
Yeah, with 23.6 to go in the half.
The problem with that, he goes in for an offensive rebound and picks up his 4th. It's dangerous. They come inadvertently. I think Terry Stout has just come to George Karl, says, you know, he has 3, so it's a risk. He's going to take Kemp out to make sure he doesn't get his 3. But I think they'd like to get a 3-point shot on this possession with 23.6.
Olajuwon missed the front end, got the second one. The team has 17, 12 in the second quarter. And Houston has missed 4 free throws here. They've had 20 attempts in the first half. Sonics by 3 points with just over 15 seconds in the period. Looking for the last shot.
See when they go. It's under 9.
Now to 5. Payton splits the defense. He is so quick off the dribble, and Houston saw that coming. 3.4 seconds. There's enough time. Ellie lost the ball. He was there. Right out of his hands. Sonics back to a 5-point lead at the break. Seattle led by as many as 10. The Rockets came back and got the lead in a seesaw affair for a while. But now the Sonics with a mini run at the end of the first half of play. After this, we'll go to the studios for the Nike halftime report.
Houston trying to close out Seattle at the Summit tonight, but they trail by a handful at the break. Later tonight here on TNT, the Bulls will try to close out the Hawks in Game 5 at the United Center. Here in Atlanta, it's time for the Nike halftime report. Ernie Johnson and our studio guest, PJ Carlissimo. Seattle trying to stay alive. They're up by 5. What's been the key, Coach?
Well, I think they're playing a lot looser, but Gary Payton's making his shots. Gary struggled with his field goal percentage. He's played well tonight. He's knocking them down, and they're in it. And this is easily the best offense of all the playoff series.
Payton's got 13. Kemp has 14. It's Seattle 57-52 at the break. In his 13 seasons in the Celtics uniform, Larry Bird was a Rookie of the Year, an MVP 3 times, an NBA champion 3 times, an Olympic gold medalist, and was a no-brainer selection as one of the NBA's 50 greatest players of all time. And now comes a new chapter as he heads home to Indiana as head coach of the Pacers. And Larry Bird joins us now from Market Square Arena, Indianapolis. Larry, congratulations. How you feeling?
Fine, Ernie. Everything's going pretty smooth right now. I haven't coached a game yet, but I'm excited to get started.
Hey, when you drew up a list of pros and cons as far as getting into the coaching game in the NBA, how did the pros win out over the cons?
Well, I know PJ was coached out to Portland, and I seen that, and I said, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So it was tough. I talked to a lot of people. I had a lot of pluses and minuses. A lot of people told me I shouldn't do it, and a lot said I should. I'm very competitive, and the only way I can get competitive again is be on the basketball court. Can't play no more, but I can try to coach.
Birdie, congratulations. I think it's great for you, and it's obviously great for the NBA and for basketball in general. You know, my first recollections of you, When I was coaching at Seton Hall, I remember when we used to come up and play Boston College and we'd be in Boston Garden, whether it was after a shoot-around or before a game. I remember the one Celtic that was always there later than anybody else, or the first one in for a game, was Larry Bird. Any concern, a so-called modern-day player, it'll be hard for you to get players to have that kind of dedication and motivation?
Well, I'm not looking for my players to go out and do the things that I did as a player. I expect them to spend time on the weaknesses. I expect them to come to play every night, and I expect them to practice hard and come to win. And if they do that, I'll be satisfied.
I think you got a good group, too. You have some good people there, and obviously they've been coached well the last couple of years. My other recollection of you was our summer spent together at the Barcelona Olympics. I remember how painful it was for you with all the traveling around, your back at that time. Any concern that, you know, the back will be a little bit of a problem for you with all the travel you'll have to do?
Well, the past 3 years has been doing pretty good. It's a little stiff in the mornings, but it's good enough to coach. It's not good enough to play, but I'm pretty pleased with it. It really turned out good for me.
Can you play 36 holes a day with it?
No, I've been doing that the past 5 years, and now it's time to go back to work.
Larry, stick around for a couple of minutes if you would while we pay a couple of bills. We'll be back with more of the Nike Halftime Report in just a minute, spending more time with Larry legend, Larry Bird, number 33, the new head coach of the Indiana Pacers. We'll be right back. We welcome you back to the Nike Halftime Report. The Sonics with a 57-52 lead over the Rockets. I'm EJ, this is PJ, and of course, we're talking to Larry Bird here on the Nike Halftime Report. And Larry, Craig Sager is at the United Center tonight, and when Michael came in just a few minutes ago, he asked him a couple of questions about your latest assignment. Give a listen to this.
We have Larry Bird in the studio tonight. What kind of coach is he going to be?
I don't know. I think this is great for Larry. I'm happy for him, and I think he's very knowledgeable about the game, and I think he's got the respect of the players that they listen to him, and you know he has his schemes and his all his thought process together. He can be a heck of a coach.
You're a free agent. You want to go play for him?
No. He'll be fine without me.
Well, you can scratch that one off the list there, Larry. But how about Magic Johnson? Have you talked to Magic about his coaching experience? And geez, might he want to come back and play for you in Indiana?
I don't know about that. I've talked to Magic a little bit a few months ago about his experience, and he has a problem with the young players, but that's Magic. I got my own agenda, and I feel I'm ready, and hopefully I can get the job done.
Let me ask you about your Dream Team experience and some of the friendships you had there, and you look at the playoffs now, and you got Patrick Ewing in New York and Charles Barkley in Houston, Malone and Stockton in Utah, all looking for championship rings. Who are you pulling for in your heart in the playoffs?
Well, it's hard to say. I like all them guys. They're professionals. They're first-class individuals. But Karl Malone's having a great year, probably his best year. I really don't see anybody any better than him. But you know, you can never leave out Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing. Patrick's one of the hardest-working individuals I've ever seen. So I wish them all luck.
That's your man, Larry. That's the guy I thought you'd pick. I still have my Harry and Larry T-shirts from that summer in Barcelona. That was great.
You better not tell him that. When we left Barcelona, he said he never want to hear Harry and Larry again. So Patrick's just a hard-working individual, and I can't wait till next year when we get an opportunity to play against him.
Larry Bird, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and we wish you the best of luck, this new job with the Indiana Pacers, and good luck to you down the road. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Ernie.
Birdie, I got a resume in the mail to you.
You don't have to respond, Larry. That's fine. Back with more on the Nike Halftime Report in just a minute. The game you're watching, Seattle has a lead over the Rockets, 57-52. The Glide's got 15 in the first half. Back with more in a second.
Welcome back to the Summit in Houston, Texas, where the Sonics lead the Rockets 57-52. There have been 8 ties and 10 lead changes in this game, most coming in the second period of play. The biggest lead that Seattle had was 10 points. The Rockets got ahead by 3, but a little mini run there toward the end of the half put the Sonics up by 5 points. Chuck, every game we've seen, game 1, 2, 3, 4, each one's had a different story. I think the story of this game is there is no story. Very hard to get a grasp on the theme and on momentum in this game. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. You know, they're kind of punching, counter-punching, scoring when they have to. I think the Sonics, one of their missions was they've gone 10 deep
He's only used 7 players normally. He wants to keep his key people out of foul trouble to go down the stretch with him. But the home court in a big game like this down the stretch is significant.
Here are the statistics as Houston, with the home court, trails it by 5. Look at the second quarter shooting. 75% for the Rockets. Nevertheless, they still trail by 5. And the rebounding, Barkley and Olajuwon, 18 between them to give the Rockets a big edge there, 22-13. Sean Kemp.
Big tip in coming over to the weak side. Charles Barkley. He's going coast to coast, which we've seen so often in his career. No one wants to get in front of the truck. How about Hakeem Olajuwon? Splits the double team, fades away.
17 points for Olajuwon. Barkley has 8, also 10 rebounds. And the Houston Rockets with the ball into Hakeem early. There's the double team. Foul on the pass out. Tommy Nunez made the signal, and it's on Detlef Schrempf. That'll be his first personal. Schrempf has some words with Nunez. I thought they were trying to call it on Perkins, but nevertheless, they give it to Detlef Schrempf. And here is Maloney. In the first half, Maloney 0 for 4, 1 assist, 2 turnovers in 16 minutes. Percy Hawkins starting out defensively on Maloney. The first half, Payton was on him early. There's the double on Olajuwon. Drexler. He didn't get rid of that very well. That was a Kobe Bryant look. Kobe's probably watching. He's going to be mad at me for his entire career for saying that.
And Detlef Schrempf goes end to end, has a 3-on-2, but spins in the lane and draws the foul.
Just opening moments of the third quarter. Sonics 57, Rockets 52, and Maloney just picked up his 3rd personal foul to go with all his other problems here in this ball game tonight. Maloney 0 for 4, as I told you, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, now 3 fouls.
Series averaging 16.8, almost 17 points a game. Season only 9-4, but he's been able to get the wide open 3-point shot because of the double teaming of the big 3. Barkley, Drexler, and Olajuwon.
You know, Seattle would be up a lot more than the now 6 points than they are over Houston if they'd hit free throws. Seattle now 11 of 14 from the line, and Houston has made 16 of 20. It's a 5-point differential.
And Seattle trying to turn it into a ragged game, and there finally Matt Maloney gets a 2, not a 3, but he becomes aggressive and gets a huge shot for his confidence.
Yeah, that's his first field goal of the game. Jumper by Sean Kemp, who loves that shot. He has 14. Reggie Theus, what do you have?
Well, at halftime, Rudy Teague's talking about his team. His turnovers are turning into fast breaks. We've got to definitely stop that. We're just not sharp. Seattle is much more aggressive than we are. And out of the locker room, the players came out talking about, this is our house. We got to finish this out. For Seattle, one of the reasons why the Rockets went 4 for 14 is because they're saying they're cheating on the inside plays. They're trying to get out on the shooters. They don't want to just get a hand in the face. They want to get an elbow in the face. George Karl also said that look for this half-court trap a little bit more. Chuck, Bob?
All right, thank you, Reggie. How about that heads-up play by Drexler? Saw the shot clock winding down, threw up the prayer. Barkley got it to lay in the bucket, and now it's Sonics by 4. Did Ellie block that? Somebody got a piece of it. Barkley comes away with the ball.
It's rare that you'll see Sean Kemp miss that kind of shot because he really likes to slam it home.
That's why I thought somebody must have got a piece of it. Diagonal pass out to Malone. 10 on the shot clock for the Rockets, trailing by 4. Maloney falling down, wanted a call, didn't get it. Tipped out of bounds by the Sonics, 6 on the shot clock.
The Sonics being very aggressive, double teaming almost every place on the floor, forcing the Houston Rockets to make plays with the basketball on the dribble.
6 on the shot clock. Into Ellie. Barkley fumbling. He's going to have to ball fake. That beat it. Beat the buzzer. Drexler tried to save it, but saved it right into the hands of Hawkins. Here comes Payton. Isolated against Maloney, carrying 3 fouls, remember. And Payton, who has made a living in the paint. He has been in the paint, I don't know, 10 times tonight?
Well, he's 7 for 11 right now. Started out 0 for 4 and has come alive, most up in the paint. That's 6 of his last 7.
Olajuwon against Kemp. Missed the shot, but let's see who the foul is on. It's on Kemp. That's 3.
Significant. We've talked about it before. Been in foul trouble in almost every game. And that one he picked up just before the half is going to loom big before this night is over. He has a tendency to commit them back-to-back.
So Olajuwon goes to the free throw line where he is 3 for 5 tonight, has 17 points in the game. Coming up right after this one on our GMC scoreboard, Atlanta at Chicago. Bulls leading 3-1, sweeping the back-to-back double, you might call it doubleheader, Saturday-Sunday games in Atlanta. And following that, of course, inside the NBA. So it's Michael and the Bulls and Mookie and the Hawks. Ellie trying to defend Payton. It rolls out of there. Kemp steals the rebound. Joey Crawford has the whistle.
Kemp working from the left side. The Houston crowd and the coaching staff wanted a foul over the back, retrieving the rebound. Let's take a look at it. Payton throws that soft shot up, hits that more often than not, rolls around. Kemp working in the lane. They wanted foul over the back, but I thought Kemp just reached inside, then very wisely took it back up, got to the free throw line.
Just kind of a double loss there for Houston, as they didn't get the foul on Kemp and got one instead on Akeem Olajuwon, and Kemp hits both of the free throws, has 16 in the game. That, by the way, was Akeem's first personal foul. 65-58. Sonics now back up by 7. They've led by as many as 10.
They keep throwing that little trap, slowing down the Rockets' attack, forcing the shot clock to run down.
5 on the shot clock. Long three-pointer by Ellie. Ellie's been struggling from there tonight. He is 0 for 6. Hawkins answers, and this now, Sonics 64-58.
Here comes the double team.
58. And here is Hawkins. Now 69-58. And that's the biggest lead of the game. 69-58. 8:06 to go in the third quarter. And the scoreboard light bulbs are out again.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by GMC, putting you comfortably in command. By Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy. And by Super 8. Life's great at Super 8.
The Seattle Sonics lead it by 11. 10 Houston turnovers leading to 11 Seattle points. Here's one of the reasons why, Chuck.
Take a look. Hersey Hawkins right here. Watch quickly. The ball's in the outside of the floor. Here he comes for the double team. Hold it right there. And then he gets a deflection. Watch carefully. Gets a deflection right there. Ends up with a steal going to the basket. And this is the way they played the whole second half. Plus the fact it keeps their big guys out of some foul problems inside. And here they come again. They're going to trap this backcourt.
Charles Barkley handling the ball. You saw that Seattle, once again, the steal team, they led the NBA in steals in the regular season with 11 a game. 5 on the shot clock. Tense defense. Drexler missing. Barkley rebounding and putting it back and missing it again. Maloney open for 3. No. And you said it so early, Chuck. Look at the hustle for the ball. Payton comes up with it. And there are 2 players down. Perkins may be injured. Hawkins on the wing. Misses the 3. Rebound Kemp. Pass inside. Payton with the basket. Perkins is up, but seems to be shaken up.
Got a bad knee. Looks like he's favoring the right knee. Gary Cummings is going to come into the game as quickly as they can get him in. And here's your little trap again.
Sonics have outscored Houston 9-0 in less than in just a little over a minute. Blocked by Kemp.
The only thing that's saving him is the fact that Charles Barkley's been able to really work the offensive boards, getting 3 offensive rebounds, which has been crucial. They have not been able to take advantage of it. It's going to take a lot of energy out of them.
Perkins being attended to on the bench now. Barkley has 13 rebounds, but the Sonics have their biggest lead, 71-58, with 6:53 remaining in the third quarter. Houston Houston has scored 6 points in this quarter. Make it 8. 11-point Sonics lead. Akeem has 21.
Well, Akeem was fronted by Cummings on that particular play and got the lob and finally got a field goal to get them going a little bit.
Sonics hoping to take these Rockets back on a trip they don't want to make. The 4-hour plane flight to Seattle. And one. Count the basket. Detlef Schrempf is fouled and then made a very tough falling out of bounds 10-footer. Crowd is quiet.
Take a look at this play. Normally when Detlef Schrempf goes this way and fades away, he shoots it. This time he delays it a little bit, throws it up over the corner and gets fouled.
2 of 4 from the line tonight is Detlef Schrempf. Drexler, by the way, just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Kemp carrying 3 fouls for the Sonics. See Perkins with something on his right knee there. Looks like ice. Detlef Schrempf with 13 points. Maloney can't buy it tonight. Rebound Olajuwon.
The only thing that's keeping it this close, and it's 12 now, are second shots. And obviously when you trap, you give some lanes, but that time they were matched up and in a position basically to box out and not give those second shots. Those mental errors will really cost you big time in a playoff game.
Sonics by 12. Payton working on the baseline. He loves it down there. Schrempf missing. Maloney runs it down. Drexler had leaked out, but Maloney couldn't see him to get him the ball. Now Drexler has it. Olajuwon. Ellie cannot get a 3. That was a 2. He had stepped on the line, but Ellie has been a donut from out there tonight. 0 for 7.
Hawkins and Payton working the defensive board have come up with 3 key rebounds in the second half.
Now they've got the switch. Drexler's on Payton, and Schrempf is posting Ellie. Drexler tied him up just long enough for Ellie to go for the ball. I wouldn't mind having Mario Ellie as a linebacker or a strong safety on my NFL team.
I agree.
Mario Ellie, a 6'5", 210. That's strong safety, I guess.
Detlef Schrempf that time caught the ball and loses the tap here, although the Sonics come away with it.
Sonics continue to lead by 12. Biggest lead of the game. 5:07 to go in the 3rd quarter. Olajuwon goes for the steal, and we're going to get another jump ball.
Second.
Here's Reggie Theus.
All right, Sam Perkins just bumped his knee on the bad right knee on the floor. Trainer says there's no big problem. He's going to put a little ice on it. He's going back in the game whenever the coach puts him back in the game, Reggie. Bob?
That's how they responded to you, huh, Reggie? You're working them over there. Thanks. 74-62 Sonics. 5 minutes to go, 3rd period. Detlef Schrempf had 2 consecutive jump balls. First one was Seattle's. This one is the Rockets, hoping to get back down to that 10-point deficit. Maloney with his 4th turnover tonight.
Payton has pressured them all night long. They lose the jump ball on 2 possessions trying to go to Detlef Schrempf, but they end up not hurting themselves.
Look at Payton. Got the penetration, makes the interior pass to Sean Kemp. This move of George Karl's putting Gary Payton on Matt Maloney has proved to be very significant. Previously, it had been Hersey Hawkins, and there's the half-court trap. They're going to get Sadale Freed in here in a moment. Houston Rockets are. Barkley spinning on Kemp.
Huge foul.
That's 4.
Big time problem.
Here comes Perkins back in with a sore knee.
Position, just spins on him, catches him with his left arm. And there's Kemp with 4, with 4:22 to go in the 3rd, and that's trouble for the Sonics, who are cruising at this point.
Now Terry Cummings on Barkley along with Schrempf. Inside the 3, no threat down there. No pun intended. Olajuwon is fouled as he gets the ball in the post. And that's on Hawkins, his 1st. Houston with a little huddle at the free throw line there. They're down 14 points with 4 minutes to go in this period. Houston had taken a 3-point lead, but the guards, look at that, the Payton matchup on Maloney. 17 for Payton, Maloney only 2. Key thing there, 1 for 7 and 4 turnovers.
You know, they had a little huddle there at the foul line, and they're saying, no more plane trips. No more plane trips. That's all they're thinking about.
4-hour ride up to Seattle, going back in Key Arena. They won 2 up there. Rudy Tomjanovich, he says, I'm befuddled. This team plays like road warriors. They relax and struggle at home. Payton with a turnover. 3-on-2. Drexler fouled. Let's check the team foul situation. Now, for 3:47 of this period, that's the 5th. Seattle in the penalty, and that'll be the 2nd on Shrimp.
And Gary Payton going to Tommy Nunez says, I was fouled on that pass in the baseline. It certainly didn't looked like he threw to someone who was previously there.
What's that? And the person who was presently there was Clyde Drexler. Hoping to cut it to 10 again. Rock's been unable to do that since the Sonics got out there. Sonics scored 9 consecutive points early in this period in just over 1 minute. We're talking to Rudy T.
Yeah, he's gone to Sedale. He doesn't like what's happening. It's probably a normal substitution with 3+ to go, but I don't think he likes what's happening with the ball. But it's all about stops, and now they've got to play for a lengthy time without Kemp and get through the end of this quarter.
Yeah, and 3 came off the floor after the conversation with Rudy T there with instructions for all the players. 10-point Sonics lead. Crowd back into it. Perkins open from beyond the arc. Rebound, Elijah Wan. Pushing it now. Drexler. Hersey Hawkins. Smart player.
Well, they took the quick 3 by Perkins. That play was set up. But in reality, with Kemp out of the game, you may want to work for a little bit better shot at this point in the game to try to buy some time.
That was a kicked ball. It'll be a new 24-second clock for Houston. Right now, a Seattle timeout. 3:19 to go in the 3rd. Rockets within 10. Seattle down 3-1. That's a virtual closeout in the NBA, but it has been done before. Houston knows it can happen because Houston was down 3-1. I did several games in that series in 1995 versus Phoenix. Came back to win it. Then it goes back into 81, 79, 70, all the way back to 68. Chuck, you were talking about Sean Kemp and how hard George Karl worked in the first half to keep him out of foul trouble. Well, now he's in it with 4. He went out with 4:22 to go in the 3rd period. Sonics were up by 14. Lead's been cut to 10. Houston have the ball.
It'll be interesting to see how they can survive this. It doesn't give them any defensive rebounding of his caliber. A lack of offense going inside and second shots. So the Sonics are going to have to struggle to try to survive this. And when he comes back in, they'll go right at him to try to pick up the 5th.
Going back in here to Olajuwon against Terry Cummings. Olajuwon, it's easy money down in there, and Hakeem has 27.
The key right now for the Sonics is executing offensively. They've got to get good shots and try to keep the Rockets from running the court and getting easy shots with this kind of lead.
Open for the jumper is Hawkins. Rebound, Olajuwon, 3, quickly pushing it. 2:36 to go in the 3rd. Barkley. There's the double team. Nobody to go to.
Barkley's holding on to it. He's watched this shot.
Leave it to me, and Barkley misses it.
That used to be his favorite position on the floor to work. Right now, he doesn't beat people quite the way he used to, although he got the early double team.
Yeah, face up on the wing. Was a nightmare. 2 minutes in the period. Payton defended by Eller. There comes the double on Payton. Wingate. Open for 3. Rebound, Olajuwon, who now has 13 boards.
In almost every game, they've gotten in this situation where Wingate ends up the guy shooting the basketball, and that is not his strength from that range. He needs to step in or get to the basket.
Going back to Olajuwon. There's the dream shake on the baseline. Not this time. Who's there to get it? Barkley. Stripped away, but the foul. It'll be called on Gary Payton.
Right now, if you're going to play Charles Barkley, you're going to have to almost face him. He becomes Rodman-like, Oakley-like, going to the offensive board. Here's the fadeaway jumper right here. Watch Charles if we can get a look at it. He just wades in the lane and grabs the rebound. 14 rebounds, 6 offensively.
And to the free throw line goes Barkley. 69% free throw shooter in the regular season. See, tonight he's 3 for 9 from the floor. Minute 40 to go in the third period. Charles missing the free throw again. He's been struggling there.
Looks as though he's rearing. When his arm goes out, the upper part of his body's going back instead of going toward the target.
See, the 8-point differential for Houston in the free throws, though, now make it 9, have kept them in this game. They are ahead +9 on the Sonics with free throws and down 7 points. This is a 7-0 Houston run, and since Kemp went to the bench with 4, Sonics have been unable to score. Cummings fouled.
Nice interior passing, and I'm not sure that Terry could have finished that, but he was able to draw.
Terry Cummings, 38 years old. Remember him from some great years in the early 80s at DePaul, completing his 15th year in the NBA.
Hakeem Olajuwon goes to the bench. The 1:24 to go, which means he can rest this amount of time, whatever transpires in this quarter, have the whole quarter, plus the fact that, more importantly, he only has 2 personals.
Terry Cummings, you see, who did not start tonight. Sam Perkins did. That's his first point in this game. First Seattle point in 3 minutes, or since Kemp went to the bench for this 4th personal. Minute 23 in the period. Sonics 77, Rockets 69.
Here's that half-court, little trap, double team. Then they get matched up, and now they've got to seek a way to find a shot.
The trap not quite as effective against the veteran Sedale Freed. Look at that play by Clyde Drexler. It's a 6-point Sonics lead, and Drexler has 19.
It's easy. There are no shot blockers in the game for the Sonics defense, and you're going to see the Rockets just keep getting to the basket.
Final minute, calling for defense. Everybody on their feet here. Sellout crowd at the Summit. Cummings, Perkins, fouled at 42:09 to go in the period. It's Sedale Freet. Called for the personal, his second.
This is the way the Sonics can stay in the game, by penetration, using the clock, and getting to the free throw line. They're going to have a tough time scoring and may have to go a little bit more pick and roll with Gary Payton.
Perkins goes to the line. Willis is in for Houston with 42:09 to go in the period. Willis with no rebounds in this ball game and 1 point only. And he's only played 11 minutes, but key free agent acquisition at the beginning of the year for the Rockets. Later they picked up Freet and Eddie Johnson down the stretch, and those are their primary bench players for Houston. (79-71). Sonics 39 seconds to go in the third period. Sonics led it by 5 at the half.
More individual pressure, trying to keep the ball out of the interior, but once you penetrate, it's wide open.
Wingate, 25 seconds. Good transition defense. All the Rockets are back.
About a three-second differential. Payton will run it down, go to Perkins on the pick and roll, but he'll look to get to the basket and make something happen, unless they want to strictly isolate him on Sedale.
Sedale trying to play Payton. That's a tough fadeaway shot. Barkley has 6 seconds. Ellie runs it down. That won't count. And that's just another miss for Mario Ellie. Look at this. A total of 3 points between Maloney and Ellie. Only 1 field goal. So combined, they are 1 of 14 and 0 for 10 from beyond the arc.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
You see hardly any cars on the downtown Houston freeways. That's because everybody's in here at the Summit. And their home favorites trail by 8 with 12 minutes remaining in the game. Sean Kemp went out of the game with 4:22 to go in the third with 4 personal fouls. Sonics were up by 14. Rockets cut the lead to 8. We're into the final 12 minutes. And that foul's going to be on Drexler. And that's 4 on Clyde Drexler. Yes, we're talking about what keys could be in this. One could be defense. Houston played well in the 4th period in games 3 and 4.
Well, one of the keys is Sean Kemp is not in the game, and the Sonics are going to have to find a way to score. And one of their key ingredients is Sean Kemp, but he's on the bench with 4 fouls.
Terry Cummings in trouble. 7 on the shot clock. Percy Hawkins. That's a triple. Hawkins has been there tonight when they've needed him. He has 18 points. And he's been able to hit the threes also.
Not as much pressure right now. They were doubling. They're going to let the Rockets run their offense. That means Olajuwon's probably going to get better looks, and that's trouble.
Lob inside. He missed the lay-in. The only man to come to defend him was a guard, and he still missed it. Sonics by 11. 11 minutes to go in the game. Cummings with a big offensive board, stepped right inside of Akeem Olajuwon. Payton against 3. He's fouled by 3.
Good penetration, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. A way to get points other than trying to depend on scoring.
Akeem Olajuwon's numbers as Payton goes to the free throw line. That's the 3rd personal on Sadale 3.
Those are good numbers. 30 touches is the key. A big game. He's going to get close to 40 touches, almost half the possessions. He will get the touch to see what can happen.
And you got to think when Kemp comes back in, as well as Olajuwon's been playing, they're going to try to work on Kemp, who's been playing Olajuwon, although we may find that George Karl will switch the defensive roles there with 4 fouls.
Well, Sean Kemp, when he comes back to the game, has a tendency to be out of the game and pick up a quick foul, and we'll see if it happens tonight.
Kevin Willis, who has only 1 point in the game, back in against Perkins. There's the double team. That's a tough shot. Probably not a smart shot. 83-71 Sonics.
Yeah, Perkins doing a good job of forcing him back to middle. Perkins on occasion has given up the baseline and caused them problems because they are getting help from the top.
Now to Perkins against Willis. 10 on the shot clock.
Willis too physical. He's not going to be able to get in the lane.
Willis with the personal. That's 3 on Kevin.
He was unable to make any kind of penetration because Willis's strength will stand you up, and he did to Perkins. But Perkins on the fadeaway draws the foul.
Houston trailing it now by 12 once again. Perkins hasn't missed from the free throw lines. He has only 4 points in this game. Coming up right after this one, the Chicago Bulls hoping to close out the Atlanta Hawks at the United Center right after this ball game. Bulls up 3 games to 1. Perkins gets 1 out of 2. It's a 13-point Sonics lead.
Here's your little trap again. They want to keep the ball in the backcourt as long as possible. Then they'll match up.
Into Kevin Willis. He's having a nightmare down there on the block. Now Olajuwon. Eddie Johnson. Foul, that'll be 3. And it's on Perkins.
And George Karl's at half court, and it looked as though he might have missed him, but George Karl.
Timeout Seattle, and George having to be restrained by his assistant coach Bobby Weiss over there. He wanted to come out here after Nunez.
Let's take a look.
Can't see it there.
Maybe a better angle.
Time for Dutch Boy in the paint with 9:51 to go in this game. Sonics getting points in the paint. A lot of those have come from Gary Payton and his penetration. You'll see the second chance points, offensive rebound story. And the questionable call once again. Let's look at it. A better angle this time on the foul or no foul on Perkins against Eddie Johnson.
Watch your left shoulder.
Yeah,
right there. He got him. Good call by the official.
What's the story here?
I don't know. I thought Reggie would get a look, but Charles is not part of the huddle. He's sitting that one out. Seattle shooting 50%, Houston 37%, 28% in the second half.
Eddie Johnson has not missed a free throw in the playoffs. He gets 3 here. Here's an opportunity to miss a free throw. We'll have to get Reggie Theus over there at that Houston bench, see what Reggie can come up with about Barkley. But you know, Charles is such a great psychological master. You know, Reggie, what do you think? I see you over there by the bench. Reggie, are you there? This is Bob. And Eddie Johnson continues to be perfect from the free throw line. He has 13 points. Sonics now leading by 10, 9:47, crowd on their feet, and Sean Kemp will be back in this game momentarily. Here is Hawkins penetrating. Payton doing likewise. Missed. Eddie Johnson rebound. Chance to cut the lead to single digits. Sedale 3. Drexler. Looking for Olajuwon. What a nice feed to the cutting Drexler. It's an 8-point Sonics lead. 9:17 to go in the game.
I think Wingate or one of the off-men just fell asleep and let him make that cut. Anytime Elijah was down there, he does like to go to score, but he's a great passer out of the double team.
Deafening here in the Summit. That ball knocked loose down there by Olajuwon. Threed has him running numbers for the Rockets. Drexler. Well, that would have brought this crowd to their feet. There's a foul in the backcourt against Gary Payton. And it's on Kevin Willis, his 4th.
Let's take a look here. Watch carefully. The ball goes to Eddie Johnson. He dumps it into Olajuwon. Watch carefully. Oh, there it is. There's the cutter. Hawkins goes to double team, and Drexler goes all the way.
Ah, he's so slick. Reggie Theus, what do you have?
Well, I went down there like you guys asked, Bob, and said, Chuck, why aren't you in the huddle? Are you all right? He looked at me and laughed and basically gave me one of those stares like, Reggie, why are you asking me such a stupid question in the middle of the game? Guys, I'm all right.
Reggie, we put you in harm's way, but you always answer the call.
That's my buddy.
That's your man, Charles.
That's nothing new.
And then he says, nice suit.
Of course. Eddie Johnson goes all the way in his foul from behind. Percy Hawkins, who we said at the beginning, or you said, Chuck, at the beginning of the game, would be key for the Sonics tonight, has 21 points and 4 threes. And look at that. That was Kemp with the foul, and that's his 5th with 8:20 to go in the game.
And Payton, take a look at this. Oh, what? He's wide open. You got to let him go. You got to let him go.
Oh, clear foul.
Yeah, you can't commit that foul in this kind of situation.
It is the style of Sean Kemp. Seattle leading by 11, but that's in jeopardy. Kemp just picked up his 5th foul as Eddie Johnson drove the lane.
Look carefully. Detlef Schrempf is out here. Normally, that's been a guard. Detlef Schrempf can't get back there. Eddie Johnson rarely drives, but when he does, look at Sean Kemp. Instead of going for the block, he was over the arm, and gets his 5th foul, and that's why George Karl and I got old. Together.
George Karl's been working this whole game to manage, you see those statistics telling, to manage the Sean Kemp fouls, but you can't manage that. And yet, you know, you live and die with a player the caliber of Kemp. You get the good with the bad, and Barkley is back in the game now, so Reggie Theus is probably out of danger for the moment.
Well, we talked about it just before he came back in. He has a tendency to pick up that 5th foul on almost every occasion on a play like that. He's got to learn when to give up the basket because he's too important to have on the floor. And I guarantee you, Gary Payton let him know.
9-point Sonics lead with 8 minutes to go in the game. Kemp on the bench. Back tip by Drexler, but it went to Payton. Perkins missing. Barkley with the rebound, is 16th.
And 2 quick, wide-open threes, but 2 quick ones when they've got a key guy on the bench. They've got a lead. They need this clock to move down so they can use Kemp's last foul.
Olajuwon with the drive, and look at the spin move. Oh, baby, by Clyde Drexler. He put some big-time English right out of London on that ball.
Cummings Started to take the shot, and then there was the dream. Now one-on-one, he's going to take it anyway and make it.
Huge
That's a
shot.
veteran confidence.
Yeah, it really is. And he had lacked that in several of the games, not willing to shoot it. At that time, he takes it. Here comes the trap. You got Detlef Schrempf out there. That makes it difficult because they're not quick enough to recover. Now they'll go straight.
Drexler, who leads the Houston team in assists, was handling the ball. They reverse it. Eddie Johnson's going to drive again. His runner doesn't fall. Barkley loses it off himself, out of bounds. Sonics still lead it by 9, though, just under 7 minutes. And watch the English on the ball as Hawkins leaks away and lays it in.
The Houston Rockets went totally asleep on the play. Not one of them was in the backcourt. And a leak out for an easy field goal that really hurts.
That's because they thought we were going to show that replay of Clyde Drexler's spin on the ball like us. They went to sleep, too. 11-point Sonics lead.
They've got Cummings fronting Akeem, and Akeem is wide open on the backside. They're going to have to get unbelievable help if they'll look for it. Unfortunately, the pressure outside is keeping him from looking inside.
2 to shoot, 3 gets it away. Barkley with the offensive board and the putback. It fell right into Charles' hands. He got that rebound at his belt.
Sonics by 9, 6:13 to go. Still a substantial lead with 6:13 to go. Kemp on the bench with 5 fouls.
He moved right there without Kemp. He gets that rebound, and Barkley's been able to get 2 or 3 of those tonight simply like that.
Sadeo Threet picked up his 4th. Let's check the team foul situation. The Rockets are over the limit. Sonics have committed only 2, also significant.
And very much like game 2, Rudy Tomjanovich has gone away from Matt Maloney and gone to Sadeo Threet.
Here's how I can tell what Chuck thinks about what's going to happen in a game. Chuck, did you bring the raincoat here to Houston or not?
I did bring the raincoat, but that didn't help it, and it doesn't really matter to me, but I did bring the raincoat.
Well, raincoat to me says Seattle. I, on the other hand, to show you where I was thinking, just brought one coat with.
You can dodge the raindrops.
The Sonics by 10. They want to get it back to Seattle. It's kind of packing predictions with Chuck and Bob here. 10-point Sonics lead, 5:55 to go. Houston hoping not to make a trip back to Seattle. They would play Thursday night inside to Elijah Wan. Hard to stop him there, and one.
It's going to get very difficult. He's wide open. They're fronting him. Now they swung it back to the top, and they can find him almost every time. Here's the front. Watch the front. Now he works to the weak side. He seals, gets the ball, and once he gets it there, he's very difficult to handle and ends up a potential 3-point play.
4 fouls on Perkins now. Kemp on the bench with 5. Akeem has 29 points. It's going to be Houston ball. Barkley just parlayed that ball off of Terry Cummings, and Houston will have it down 8 with 5:46 to go in the game.
Actually, Cummings released on the ball instead of boxing out. And we saw that with Portland with Sabonis missed a key box out on a free throw. Crucial at this point in the game.
Akeem Olajuwon gets the double team. 2 Ellis. Plenty of time on the shot clock, 14 seconds. Drexler fouls when he gets into the paint. That's on Gary Payton, and it's his 3rd.
The noose tightening for the Sonics. Without Kemp and not a particular good offensive guy to go to in a low box, they keep staring up at the clock.
Drexler, rare free throw miss. Actually, in the regular season, 75% shooter, pretty darn good. Look, 5 of 7 from the line tonight.
Yeah, it looked as though he kind of backed out early on that one.
On both of them, tremendous pick. It's going to be Seattle ball. I thought Barkley was going to steal the ball there. Tremendous misses.
Cummings is really struggling on the defensive board, has missed 2 or 3 situations down there, either fatigue or concentration, taking his eye off the ball, but they're crucial. They were fortunate to get that one back.
Into Schrempf. Remember, Drexler has 4. Barkley with it up to the turnover. Houston down 8. Barkley will take that 3 and not make it. Loose ball foul, Houston. John Threet.
That's his 5th. Remember, Maloney is on the bench. He's having a deja vu of game 2.
And fortunately for the Sonics, unfortunately for the Rockets, they're in the penalty, right?
Maloney, 2 points, 1 for 7, has played only 24 minutes so far tonight. There's the foul story for both teams. Kemp 5, Threet 5. And Cummings to the free throw line. He's a 70% season free throw shooter. Chance to build this back to a Sonics 10-point lead. Sonics have held this lead very well as Sean Kemp is about to come back in. It's all or nothing. That's how you got to look at it, Chuck. Would you not?
I don't know, with a 10-point lead, I might buy just a hair more time because I would be so worried about Sean Kemp because he has a tendency when he comes back into the game to commit a quick foul. Let's see if it happens tonight.
5 minutes remaining in this game. Kemp not back in yet. He's sitting on the sideline waiting. That's a kicked ball, new shot clock. Chicago, Atlanta, right after this ball game. United Center. Bulls leading 3-1 after going down to Atlanta. Atlanta has that big win in game 2 at the United Center. Chicago goes into the Omni, wins them both, as Michael Jordan says, perhaps closes down that building. Threet, a lot of passing here as Drexler gets it to Olajuwon on the baseline. Shots flat. Akeem misses. And this 10-point Sonics lead is looking larger and larger as the clock ticks down.
Let's see where they go. Going to work with Perkins on the weak side. They go to that little pick and roll and let Payton work the baseline. He'll be looking to beat his man or find an open man if he's doubled.
3 on the shot clock, missed it. Olajuwon with the rebound. This is 3 on 3. Now quickly shrink back to make it 4 on 3 defensively. 10-point Sonics lead.
Here they're going to go at Kemp. Let's see what happens. Gets a double to take him out of serious trouble. He's got to be careful right here.
Barkley. Tip in Olajuwon. 8-point Sonics lead. And Kemp had to stay off it.
He had to stay off. Has to be very, very careful. But at some point, they're going to need everything he's got to survive this game.
And Houston needs a stop. Sonics have answered every little mini run. 10 on the shot clock. Shrimp backing in. Drexler. Big bucket from Detlef Shrimp. Of course, that's one of his favorite moves. Detlef has 15. Lead back to 10 with 3:30 to go. Houston looking and needing threes, but they've not been there for them tonight. They are 4 of 22 from three-point range. Barkley against Kemp. Go back into it. There's the double spin move around Kemp. Gets the lay in again. Kemp playing with 5. Can't defend him.
You can't let him go baseline. You absolutely can't. Your help is coming from the top. You cannot let him spin baseline, and you know that's one of his favorite moves.
Sonics have answered every Houston basket these last couple of minutes. Kemp into Payton on the cut, and he's fouled by Olajuwon. That's 3 on Akeem. How about the crowd here is virtually silent as Houston gets a timeout on that play. And remember, the three-point living Rockets are choking on them tonight. Just under 3 minutes to go. 8-point Seattle lead. Payton will be going to the free throw line. But Chuck, something very interesting before the game when you and I talked to Rudy T and George Karl. It was a flip-flop of what you might expect. Rudy T pessimistic about playing here in Houston. And George Karl, you said you've never seen him so comfortable.
I never saw him so comfortable and so confident. He says, I feel really good about our chances of winning this game. It isn't over yet. 8 points with 2:55 to go. We'll see.
And Rudy T said, you know, I get nervous when my players come home from the road. They took 2 games in Seattle, and he says something happens. A relaxation effect, a comfort effect. Something happens as you look at the game reset. Both teams with 3 fulls and 120. No fouls to give. Payton at the free throw line. And Reggie Theus, what do you have for us?
Bob and Chuck, you're absolutely right. George Karl is very confident. He says, listen, the clock is in our favor. We want to take 8 or 9 seconds off every time down. Just hit some shots. We've done the work. This game is just about over, fellas. Bob?
Thanks, Reggie. Payton has 21 points tonight. 4-time Rockets have cut it to 8 points, and each time Seattle has answered.
Good play by Perkins getting a hand in, deflecting it, 16 seconds on the shot clock.
And now, Matt Maloney, who is, to use the vernacular, well, I better not use vernacular, has a lot of courage. Despite the fact he's 1 of 7 the night is in, we may see him put up a 3. Ellie is going to try a 3. He has been nowhere near. Maloney couldn't get it off as Perkins stepped in. Back to Maloney. Perkins is on him. Excellent defensive decision there. Drexler will take the 3. And hit it!
In those situations with the clock running down, you've got to close. And here's a little pressure by Houston.
Well, the Sonics have made a very clear statement there what they're going to do. They're going to shoot that long-range bomb.
Got to be careful about taking too much time off the clock. You end up defensively making it easier for Houston and not getting a shot at all.
Shrimp missing. Tip in Kemp.
That's why you need Sean Kemp. He'll get you that. He'll get you the offensive rebound. He'll get you the defensive rebound.
Kemp has 20. And every time in this period that the Sonics have made a bit of a run and cut it to 8 or 7 as they just had it, the Sonics have answered. Out of bounds off Seattle, 11 on the shot clock, minute 47 to go in the game.
And Sean Kemp came very close to committing his 6th personal foul, and it was a mismatch outside. Detlef Schrempf on Matt Maloney, who was available for a 3-point shot.
George Karl gets the timeout. 9-point Sonics lead. Well, we've talked about the resilient Seattle Sonics. They seem to need their backs to the wall. Every time Houston's done something to cut into the lead, the Sonics come right back and get something going. Here's the 3. Sonics came right back down and answered. It was a 2. Look at the follow.
Look at the tip in by Sean Kemp, and that's what he can do around the boards.
Houston 5 of 24 tonight on threes. That's only 21%. That young man has not made 1 3. Matt Maloney, 11 on the shot clock now. Ball inbounded for Ellie. Elijah Wan drives on Perkins. Drexler. Kemp with the rebound. That was a huge miss. 10 rebounds for Sean Kemp now. Crowd quiet. Minute and a half to go in Seattle's season if they give up this 9-point lead.
And right now, Gary Payton will use the clock. Kemp going to the basket to trouble.
Matt Maloney, who had 4 turnovers in the game, nearly pressured into one by Payton. Here is Barkley's pull-up jumper. Now it is Sonics by 7 with a minute 12.
They've got a lot of clock, and Houston's got to make some decisions about when and where they foul. We're going to keep working Detlef Schrempf. He just beat Drexler.
Did it again. Missed it again. Drexler comes away with the ball. Rockets on the run. Now, inside a minute, Barkley wanted the 3, and Perkins got out on it. Ellie, who hasn't hit 1 tonight. Ellie on the drive, fouled by Schrempf at 44.3.
Not sure why.
Ellie, free throw shooting 83% in the playoffs, 1 of 1 at the line tonight.
You know, George knows, as does Rudy, that 44 seconds are a lifetime. Right now, box outs on the line become imperative. Every little situation and a key miss.
Well, Mario Ellie has gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. Mario Ellie hasn't been able to throw it in the ocean. He is 0 for 8 from the floor. And now misses a free. He was nearly a 90% free throw shooter in the regular season. Gets 1 of them. It is a Sonics lead of 6.
They want the ball in the hands of Gary Payton, and I'm not sure that I would have him give it up until he absolutely has to on this possession.
Only 30 seconds left in this game. And a big 6-point lead. Save a turnover or miss. Shot clock down to 6. 5. Kemp over Elijah Wan. Rebound Barkley, 21.6. I thought they'd get a timeout. 17 seconds. Barkley fakes the 3. Now he's going to take it from the corner. Drexler back out. Ellie had it through his legs. What a nightmare Ellie's had. Barkley leaning in, missing off the side, gets his own rebound. 2 seconds left. It's not going to happen tonight. Charles Barkley showing the frustration on the face of the Rockets. And Chuck, they did not come out with the fire just like Rudy Tomjanovich suspected. The team came out soft for the Rockets, relaxed and casual, and the Seattle Sonics stay alive here at the Summit tonight, 100-94.
Well, a tremendous job by the Seattle Sonics. Defensively, they really worked the double teaming, kept the Rockets down, but the Rockets had no punch.
And Hersey Hawkins with 23 points tonight is with Reggie Theus.
Bob, just a big game out of the Seattle Supersonics. And before the game, Hersey, you guys were very confident coming in here. You said it was just going to be like game 2. You had to have a win.
Yeah, I mean, we knew what we had to do. Before the game, you know, everything was basically quiet. I think everyone pretty much stayed to themselves. You know, I had to say a little prayer to the Lord to help me come out here and just play as hard as I possibly can and be aggressive, and, you know, the shots went tonight.
You also told me that you guys were not going to lose by the three-pointer tonight. Your defense was just superb.
Well, I mean, Maloney has been killing us, and Ellie. So, you know, the big guys did a great job tonight. You know, even though Akeem scored some points, they really didn't get the three-pointer going. We got into transition a lot, was able to get some easy buckets, and I think that was the key.
And tonight, your offense, whenever Seattle needed a bucket, you were there for them. Really, their real only perimeter threat all over the floor.
Well, I mean, the guys look for me. And, you know, when I hit a couple, they always feed me. They come back to me. And, you know, that's a good feeling. When your teammates have the confidence in you, when the coaches have the confidence in you, they called some plays for me tonight to get me off. And, you know, thank God the shots went in. And now we got to take this thing back to Seattle, win game 6, and, you know, come back in for game 7.
Must be feeling pretty good. All right, Bob, back to you at the table.
Thanks, Reggie Theus. There's the final 100-94. And the story is only 2 points from Ellie, only 2 from Maloney. Couldn't score for Houston. Hersey Hawkins, our Bud player of the game. Coming up in just a moment, Chicago leading 3-1, host Atlanta. Right after this, Chuck and I, his raincoat in hand, head to Seattle, and we have the time to be determined yet, but we will have that game on the air for you Thursday night on TNT, Game 6 in this series. For Reggie Theus and Chuck Daly, this is Bob Neal saying so long from the Summit.